his team and made a video about Hurricane Irma Americans need to see. President Trump called together a meeting of his cabinet at Camp David last night with one very important issue to discuss: Hurricane Irma. This hurricane has already displaced basically the entire state of Florida, and the president knows action must be taken. To make all Americans aware of the important actions he is taking, Trump sat down with Mattis, Tillerson, Pence, Kelly, and the rest of the crew to make this video for everyone to watch. Clearly, the president is hard at work doing his best to resolve the upcoming problems before they even start. He is mobilizing the National Guard to help out. He is considering a larger funds package for hurricane relief. It was not all hurricane talk at Camp David over the weekend, though. Trump and his trusted generals also mapped out their new strategy for how to deal with North Korea. At the same time, the president used the gathering as a chance to set up his new tax reform policy with his top economic advisors, all of whom were helping with hurricane issues as well. Share. Unforgivable. Hillary Clinton's defense of deplorable comments this morning will leave jaws hanging. Hillary Clinton still seems to think her opinion matters or anyone cares what she has to say. She did her very first interview for her new book What Happened Sunday Morning on ABC, in which she explained one of her most controversial comments during the election, saying half of Trump supporters belong in a basket of deplorables. Here's her bizarre defense of that comment. "Well, I thought Trump was behaving in a deplorable manner. I thought a lot of his appeals to voters were deplorable. I thought his behavior as we saw on the Access Hollywood tape was deplorable. And there were a large number of people who didn't care. It did not matter to them. And he turned out to be a very effective reality TV star." Hillary's gross mischaracterization of President Trump and his supporters is one reason of many that she lost the election, and this just proves more than ever that she was totally unqualified to hold our nation's highest office. Certainly, President Trump has done and said things that weren't perfect. He is a mortal man with faults, and it's not like his supporters didn't care. But there were many, many other reasons to support and continue supporting the president. Hillary Clinton continues to not be able to recognize her own leadership failures and continues to blame everyone else for not liking her, giving us all the more reasons to be very happy with the 2016 election results. Share this one out 25,000 times if you're feeling deplorable and proud. H/T The Hill. Trump just did the most incredible thing for Florida that will save lives from Irma. It's remarkable how hard the media tries to bring our president down, despite the overwhelming evidence that he is doing a great job. And that includes what he has done for Texas in the wake of Hurricane Harvey and what he is doing for Florida as it braces against Hurricane Irma. Watch this raving review of our president's performance, courtesy of CBS Los Angeles via YouTube.com. Professor Carolyn Heldman thinks Trump did a great job with Harvey, and he continues to bring relief from that hurricane. She says we are starting to see him shine. She went on to say that he is doing an exceptionally good job regarding hurricane relief. According to Florida Governor Rick Scott, Trump talks with him pretty much every day. And Trump told him, "I will provide whatever resources you need." Scott himself has said that we will spare no expense to save every life in this state. So, together, Trump and Scott are determined to do whatever is necessary to save lives in the midst of this second natural disaster to hit our sweet country in the past few weeks. If you agree that Trump is doing an exceptionally good job, comment, "Great job, Mr. President," and brag about our president by sharing this everywhere. H/T The Hallelujah. President Trump just did something incredible for churches hit by hurricane. President Trump is a tough leader, but the hurricane disaster relief has brought his compassion to the fore and is even impressing some of his critics. On Thursday, the president threw his support behind churches struggling to get disaster relief money from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. 3 Texan churches filed a federal lawsuit this week to get access to those funds after being damaged in the storm. The lawsuit alleges they are not getting a fair shake from FEMA, claiming the agency categorically excludes houses of worship from equal access to disaster relief grants because of their religious status. President Trump took up their cause, voicing his support on Twitter on Friday. One of the churches damaged by Harvey, the Highway Tabernacle, had been a FEMA shelter and operations point, preparing over 8,000 meals for those affected by the storm. Republican Senator Ben Sasse also got behind the churches, writing a letter to FEMA administration Brock Long condemning possible discrimination against churches. It sends the message that communities of worship aren't welcome to participate fully in public life. It reduces the facilities and volunteer time, talent, and effort available to support the border community. For its part, FEMA told The Hill that religious organizations that assisted the relief effort could be eligible for funds, saying, any private nonprofit, plug-and-play, organization, including a religious organization that provides eligible services may be eligible for federal assistance under FEMA's Public Assistance Program, PA, to help restore its facilities and equipment. Note that this is only if churches provide disaster relief services. There were no comments reported for churches receiving aid if they were not a part of the relief effort, if they were too damaged to help, for instance. President Trump's support of this issue is a great sign for faith-based institutions, and will hopefully go a long way in bringing about legislative change that can help these important pillars of every community. H/T The MSNBC's Stephanie Ruhle spreads dangerous lie about DACA, station refuses to correct her. MSNBC's Stephanie Ruhle will push any lie as long as it fits her political narrative. She argued for DACA by claiming that there are no criminals on it, and you can't even apply to it if you have any type of criminal record. This isn't true, first because they broke the law to even be here, but also because DACA does allow certain types of criminal records. Most dreamers come here when they're 6 years old. They cannot have a criminal record. Chris Kobach can say all day long these kids are gangbangers, but they're not. 91% of them work, said Ruhle. However, if you look at U.S. Immigration Service's website, it says something very different. First, you can't be a dreamer if you are 6 years old. One of the qualifications is to be at least 15 years old at the time of submitting your request and under the age of 31 as of June 15, 2012. Additionally, here's what the law says about having a criminal record. You may request DACA if you have not been convicted of a felony, significant misdemeanor, or 3 or more other misdemeanors, and do not otherwise pose a threat to national security or public safety. So basically you can still have a couple of misdemeanors or other type of criminal record and still apply. It also allows for exceptional circumstances. But what counts as an exceptional circumstance is not laid out. They also claimed that you lose DACA status if you commit a crime. Also not. Obama attacks Trump for DACA, accidentally exposes that DACA was never legal in the first place. Most former presidents stay out of politics once they are out of the White House. However, Obama has made it clear that he is still trying to lead the Democratic Party. He recently denounced President Trump's decision on DACA. However, during his post he admitted that he passed DACA without a bill. He started by defending DACA. These dreamers are Americans in their hearts, in their minds, in every single way but one, on paper. They were brought to this country by their parents, sometimes even as infants. They may not know a country besides ours. They may not even know a language besides English. They often have no idea they're undocumented until they apply for a job, or college, or a driver's license, wrote Obama in a Facebook post. Over the years, politicians of both parties have worked together to write legislation that would have told these young people, our young people, that if your parents brought you here as a child, if you've been here a certain number of years, and if you're willing to go to college or serve in our military, then you'll get a chance to stay and earn your citizenship. And for years while I was president, I asked Congress to send me such a bill, he said. However, he never got a bill. He decided that despite not having a bill, he would pass the law anyway. That bill never came. And because it made no sense to expel talented, driven, Patriotic young people from the only country they know solely because of the actions of their parents, my administration acted to lift the shadow of deportation from these young people, so that they could continue to contribute to our communities and our country, said Rhino Lindsey Graham just introduced his amnesty plan for illegals. Republican President Donald Trump and Attorney General Jeff Sessions found the courage to finally do what Americans knew needed to happen, and scrapped President Barack Obama's Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, DACA, plan. President Trump nixed Obama's program, which was likely unconstitutional and clearly represented an overreach of executive power, and stated that Congress needs to be the branch that sets forth rules regarding what America should do with illegal immigrants. Stated Trump about making Congress act on this issue, permits will not begin to expire for another 6 months, and will remain active for up to 24 months. Thus, in effect, I am not going to just cut DACA off, but rather provide a window of opportunity for Congress to finally act. In sadly predictable fashion, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina immediately began promoting his plan, together with Democratic Senator Dick Durbin, for granting amnesty for illegal immigrants. Graham and Durbin's legislation is called the DREAM Act, and it would give around 1 million illegal immigrants a clear road to citizenship. Said Lindsey, "The reason I think it will get done now is because the leadership of the Republican Party, including the president, realizes it's good for the country economically and otherwise to give these kids the certainty they need in their lives. Why won't Rhino Graham make Americans his priority?"